All right, guys, the biggest payday part 2. So if you haven't watched part 1, make sure you go watch the first part of this video so that you can understand what I'm going to talk about here and explain to you how we got to the biggest payday. So guys, in a nutshell, what we did is what's called a haulback, okay? Haulback meaning we had picked up our original material at the first location, which we're going to call it point A. We hauled it to point B. We got paid for that, right, guys? But then what we did is we found something close and we picked up a different material at another location and we hauled that back to this side of the city, right? We call it point D and we got paid for that as well. Now, you want me to dive in and break it down? How do we find this? How do we get these customers and why we did this? Let's dive in. All right, guys. So what initially got this started was one thing. There was a high demand for gravel, and it's a specific type of gravel. It's called pea gravel on this side of town, okay? So because we needed pea gravel and we had customers because customers needed pea gravel on this side of town, what we did is we figured, well, how can we sell to customers this particular type of gravel without having to pay retail? So at that point, we figured, well, if we don't want to pay retail and we want to pay wholesale, what do we need to do? We need to go straight to the distributor, meaning the manufacturer, or in this case, guys, the quarry, where the rock naturally comes from, where it's naturally derived, right? So the mining company in other cases, right? If we're talking about a quarry. Well, here, pea gravel naturally comes from a river. Now that river is located about 100 miles west of the greater Houston area. So guys, the first thing we had to do is we had to go and pick up the material from the river, right? Now the river, keep in mind, is over 100 miles on the west side of the greater Houston area. So now we know one thing. Where do we buy the material from? So that was step one, right? We figured out where that wholesaler was, right? The place where the actual gravel came from. And once we figured that place and where we could buy it from and get it at the absolute lowest cost, that was move number one, right? That's where we start to make money. But keep in mind, now we're having to travel 115 miles back across the other side of the greater Houston area. So as we thought about this, we're like, okay, we're traveling 115 miles to get here to sell it to our customers. When we go back, we have to travel another 115 miles. So really, we're traveling 230 miles. Why? Because we got 115 one way, 115 back the other way. That's 230 miles to make $575. Well, we're really not making that much money, right? Considering all the miles that we travel. So then we have to get creative. So this is where we made more money, right? By getting creative, we said, well, what can we do on the way back, right? To maybe find somebody that may need some material on this side of town, whatever that material may be, and deliver it to the other side of town. So now we're not driving 115 miles back empty without making any money. So, well, we found a customer that needed sand on this side of town. It's called specialty sand. And we happened to find somewhere where they would sell this material at wholesale price at a pit. We call it a sand pit here in the greater Houston area, and happened to be only about 5 miles away from our original drop-off location, point B, where we're delivering the gravel. So now, guys, we have three things, right? We buy the gravel wholesale here. That's one. Number two, we got a customer to buy the gravel here, right? And now, guys, the third move, we found a sand pit that would sell us sand at a wholesale price. So move forward, guys. Now that we found somebody that needed the sand on this side of town, not only were we able to sell them the sand, but also keeping in mind that we're doing the haulback. So now we're making money going both ways. And that's why, guys, we call it a haulback, because the truck is always constantly making money. We're getting paid to travel one way and we're getting paid to travel back the other way with a haulback, meaning we're hauling back material. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Jay, how did you find all these different customers and how did you find these different suppliers and locations? Well, to be straightforward with you guys, it takes research. It takes time. Of course, just keep in mind, I've been in business for quite some time now. So if you're new to the business, you might not be able to do this right off the bat, but it pays to know the business, right? And that's why it's very important for you to do a lot of research and get out there, guys, and ask questions and find out, where are all these suppliers? Where are all these quarries? Where are these sand pits? Whatever it is in your city, right? There may be quarries, there may be sand pits, there may be gravel suppliers. What you want to do is you want to find, where are these locations that I can possibly transport material for them, right? But most importantly, if I'm going a long distance and I'm covering a distance of 30, 40, 50 miles, let alone 115 like we did here, what can I do to get paid hauling material on the way back? Because the name of the game is to make more money. So if you can find something that you can get paid to load close to your original drop-off location and haul that material back close to your pickup location from your initial load, then you're getting paid essentially to go both ways. And that's why we call it a haulback. So with that being said, guys, find these suppliers, start doing your research, right? And if you're new to the dump truck business, it's okay, you're gonna get there. Just reach out to all the owner operators and ask them, hey man, where can I pick up sand? Where can I pick up gravel? Where can I pick up, dirt, sand, whatever it is that, is needed, maybe on the opposite side of the city, or vice versa. So staying creative, guys, always being on creative mode and thinking of how you can get paid to go both ways is really just what it boils down to. So with that being said, guys, I hope that you found this video valuable. You already know, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, drop a comment below and we'll see you on the next one.